Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week 9 of the NFL. We still have another 8 weeks to go in the playoffs and all the college and the bowls. I'm running some specials. Not specials, I've just adjusted the price from the full year to whatever's left. So you can now get all the pros for only $600 instead of $1,100. You can get the whole package, pros, college, locks, bowls, NFLs to the Super Bowl for $775. The college you can pick up for, I think it's $300. The locks are down to $375. So you can get everything for $775 through the Super Bowl, all the bowl games, all the way through the end of the year. All the locks. Last 3 weeks in the NFL: 9-2, 7-1, 8-1. A astounding 24-4, and that doesn't mean I have been hitting all these multiple team teasers from the standpoint of playing Pittsburgh in 2 teasers and winning them both. It only counts as 8-1, but I had 2 Pittsburgh teasers I won. I had two let me look at it. 2 Pittsburghs, 2 Kansas Cities. Had the Bears twice. Seattle over Detroit. Carolina over Baltimore. New Orleans in 2 teasers. They were a lock. New England laying 14 down to 8. So even though I'm 8-1, I'm really more than 8-1 because I'm hitting 2 teasers with them. So 8-1 on the teams. I just had a customer email me, how do I play you? You know, do I just take it? What do I do if the spread changes? Very good questions. I post a lot of games when I see a good spread, i.e. last week, New Orleans, Minnesota. Minnesota's a 2-point favorite. Minnesota's got a lot of injuries on defense, and I think New Orleans is a much better team. I lock New Orleans plus 8. Take the 2 up to 8. Now by Thursday or Friday, New Orleans is now favored. The lock is New Orleans as the dog. Once they've gone favorite, it's a smaller lock. You can take New Orleans. I think they were -1. You can take them +5. But had they started New Orleans -1, I wouldn't have locked them. But because I had New Orleans in 2, and I posted it on Tuesday or Monday, and now it's 8, that's my point. So a lot depends on what happens. If a 6 goes to 8, yeah, it's still a lock. Absolutely, it shouldn't matter as long as you can keep getting it under 3. Or if I'm over 7, maybe I got a 3 to 9 and now it's down to 1.5. It's still over 7. Bet it the same way. It's really when it changes where I wanted the dog and they went favorite is where it's a little bit. I wouldn't have bet it as strongly. So watch when you buy from me, you see New Orleans +8. And now it's -1, you get +5. It's still take New Orleans, and they still won by 13, I think. So it didn't matter, but the basis of my pick is getting New Orleans +8, getting it over there. That's why it's the lock, getting over that 7. So do you play my picks exactly? No, that's all up to you. These are my bets. This is my picks. Here's my bets. This is who I like and who I'm betting. And I'm putting them in multiple teasers because that's my method that I've been using for, what, 80, 90, 30 years. I mean, that's been my method of when there's really good team. The Joe Montana is laying 7 at Tampa, and I love it because Joe Montana is going to win the game for me, and I can chop him to 1. You better believe I'm playing them in 2 or 3 teasers. That's how I learned how to play teasers. That's how I was am very successful at teasers. When you see the game, again, I'm picking one game, and I'm analyzing one game, and I'm going, can I tease it? Do I like the dog? Do I like the favorite? You hear me? Do I like over or under? And once I see it, and then I see like, here it is. It's a lock. Buffalo on Tuesday night was laying 7 in Miami of Ohio. Buffalo -1. There it is. and I've got it really huge with another team Saturday. A lot depends on the point spread, and a lot depends on the team. But definitely you want to play those in multiple teasers. That's how you win. When you find the one game that's this game's great game, New Orleans and 8, you put them in multiple teasers. That's the idea. And then you're looking for another team that's strong, and there's your lock teaser. Two very strong teams. It's not the teaser unlocking, it's the teams in the teaser. Pittsburgh last week, New Orleans last week. We're in multiple teasers. I played them big together, and then I played them separately. And that's really what I'm looking for. So to answer the question, you can use mine as a guide. When I was young, I was probably 18, 19, I bought picks from some guy for $25 back in the, had to be in the 70s. And I would look at his picks, and I wouldn't necessarily bet them unless there was a game that I liked. If I liked Michigan and he liked Ohio State, that's the game, then I might not play it because he didn't like who I like. But if I like Michigan and he liked Michigan, I would bet Michigan. But I would kind of pick my own games, except for one. He would rate them like 70, 80%. He came out with this Orange Bowl game, Florida State, Oklahoma, and I think it was the year after Billy Sims, and just when Florida State was getting really good, and Florida State was getting 7, and he put a 95 on it, and I bet a ton of money on it, and I normally wouldn't have, but because he normally is honest, and he puts 70s and 80s, came out with a 95, I took his pick then. So I think it's just dependent on, now I know this stuff, so I pick the games. So I would judge it and go, I don't like, I'd analyze the game and go, I don't like it, or I do like it. And that would make me bet more or less or whatever. But you do like to get the other opinion. So really what you're buying from me is my opinion, my picks. I'm telling you how strong to bet them. If they're in multiple teasers, that's what I'm doing. You've got to do what you're comfortable with. If you call up your broker and he gives you a stock, you might buy it and you might not. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're blind and just whatever he gives you, you buy. Maybe you say, no, I don't like that stock, and you don't buy it. It's totally up to you what you do. I would certainly use me as a guide and see who I've gotten for more units and who I've gotten in multiple teasers, and certainly go and then kind of, at the end of the day, you're making your own decision. You could play all my picks, and I give you the history, and you can see how much I'm up. You could do that, and but you're paying for my wisdom. Here's who I'm betting, and here's how much I'm betting on them, how many units I'm betting on them, and then you can go from there. And so if you followed my pros last week, you're 8-1. You lost. The only loss was the Rams. You hit Pitt, you hit New Orleans, you hit Seattle, you hit Carolina, you hit New Orleans, you hit New England. I mean, so I'm hitting them all. Now, maybe you didn't like the Rams, maybe you like the Packers, and that's the whole point. You like the Packers, I like the Rams. Maybe you don't play it, or maybe you say, well, yeah, I still like the Packers. I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's up to you what you do, but you've got to make that decision. And some people just take my picks and bet them, and some people analyze my picks and they take some of them, or they might bet my higher rated picks themselves, or the teams I put in multiple teasers, they might bet them. I don't know. I mean, it's up to it's up to the people that are getting the picks what they do with them. But me personally, these are my picks. These are how I'm betting. This is my philosophy and theory, and I've been betting teasers since '77, and I win every year with it. And the biggest thing I can say is I changed the units is the key, and I bet them in multiple teasers is the key, and that's why I'm very successful at it. I can analyze and go, this is the game. When I looked at Pittsburgh last week at home against Cleveland, only laying 7. See, before Pitt would have laid 14 and you wouldn't have played it, or you maybe played a small 8. But they were laying 7.5 to Cleveland, down to 1.5. That was absolutely gold. And Pitt owns Cleveland, and that's where I get into my analysis. So let's get into a game today. Let's go New England and Green Bay. New England is laying 6 to Green Bay. Over under 56.5, 57. What do you do with this game? You got Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Let's look at the trends. So the trends, first let's look at the teams. You've got New England scores 31, gives up 26. They throw for 268 a game, run for 120, and basically have 388 total yards. Pittsburgh, Green Bay puts up 25 a game, gives up 25 a game. Rodgers 334, 100 yards rushing, 438. So they're both pretty explosive, is what you can expect. Let's look at the trends. Green Bay 1-1 as a road dog, 4-3 overall, 2-0 against as a road dog, 6-1 against. Because the spread ended at 7.5 with Green Bay last week, I counted them as a bet against win. So if I took the Rams at 1.5, I won, and that's why it's 2-0. And I do that. I want to get good numbers as best I can. New England, a home favorite, 4-0, 6-2 overall, 3-1 against, 7-1 bet against this year, New England, which is unusual. That's for 18. Let's go to 17 and 18 quickly. Green Bay, 5-3 as a road dog, 5-3 against as a road dog. New England 11-3 is a home favorite, 10-4. So New England plays close to the spread, but again, New England tends to lay 10, 12, 14 points, and they get the Jets, Miami, and Buffalo at home every year, so that helps them. We can go one more to 16. Green Bay 8-5. 8-5 against. New England 18-5, 78%, 16-7. This is one of the reasons I took the Rams last week, is Green Bay is not a very good road dog. You would think they are. They're a great home favorite, but they're not a good road dog, and they're a lousy road favorite. So Green Bay on the road, the problem with Green Bay is their defense is not very good. I was shocked to see that defense last week against the Rams, because I'm watching them lose at Washington, getting killed by Detroit, and I'm figuring they're going to go to the Rams and get killed because they're a lousy road dog. And much to my surprise, they were not the same team who played Detroit and Washington. So that's another factor. At home versus on the road, it's two different teams. So what I'm doing this week, though, I really am not, after watching what I watched, here's what you look at, right? Green Bay puts up 27 points on the Rams defense, which is a whole lot better. Rams defense gives up 19 a game. New England's gives up 26, a touchdown worse. So I've come to the conclusion, the only way to bet this game, do I take New England -1 or a half? I could, but I don't know what Green Bay team's showing up. I mean, the Green Bay team showed up last week. They can beat New England with Aaron Rodgers. They had the Rams. If the kid doesn't fumble the kickoff, I guarantee you, A-Rod Rodgers marches them down the field, and they're kicking a field goal and winning that game. So that's what I'm looking at, is they were capable of beating the Rams, who is the best team in the league, and they came within a whisker of doing that. So in my mind, they can go into New England. They need the game. There's no question about that. They're 3-3, 3-1 or whatever. And if they show what they did last week, they could easily win the game. New England, you got Tom Brady. You know, they're going to score. Green Bay's defense, again, the Rams put up it was 29-27, 56-point game in that one. And you thought Gurley was going to run and take the air out of the ball from Rodgers. That's how I thought. I thought the defense, they did sack Rodgers. New England's defense is a whole touchdown worse. So I don't like Green Bay in 13 because they're a lousy road dog from a stat standpoint. Yes, Rodgers will keep him in it, and I'd be shocked if this game isn't close. Again, New England -1. This isn't Buffalo or the Jets. This is a real team they're playing with a real quarterback who looked extremely good last week. So let's keep that in mind. The only way I see to play this game is to go over 51. Over 51. 57, it's maybe 56.5, maybe it's 50, let's say. 50, 51. And again, if the spread moves a point and you bought my picks, it's fine. If I'm going over, go over with it. You know, if it moves to 65 is a different story. But at this point, 51, 50, 51, 52, you know, there you go. So here, the over-unders, I find they move a point or two doesn't really matter because they score 7s and touchdowns. And it's not a thing. So let's look at last week. 29-27 Rams is what? 56 points. You've got a much easier defense in New England. You've got Tom Brady, who's going to throw the ball over. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's going to throw the ball over in a much-needed game, Sunday night game. 51 is 28-24 is 52. When you look at it in that terms, and you look at what they did with the Rams, and they would have won 30-29 had the guy not fumbled the kickoff, or if Gurley scores, as he should have, then it's 36-20, you know, it's a 60. And that's against a really good Rams defense, 27. See, that's another method I use. I look at who they play. So if they scored 27 on the Rams, here they go against New England, you know, it's got to be an over. Now, unless there's a hurricane or severe rain would hinder this over-under. But at this point, just assume it's normal weather. Cold weather won't matter. Green Bay, New England. Take this game over 50, 51, whatever your number. It hasn't been going up. It's been hanging around 56.5, 57. Again, I use Vegas Insider mostly, which gives me all the casinos and the off-track, and I take the best spread. That's what I'm looking for. That's how you should bet. You shouldn't have one guy and whatever it is you got. You should have a multiple sources to make your bet with if you can. And then you get the best line. That's the best way to do it. Just like you're shopping at anything. You want to buy a shirt, you go to 5 different stores, and then you find it. You look for steak that's on sale. So you might go from store A to store B because the steak's on sale over here, so why pay more? That's what you're doing here. At worst case, I think this game's 33-30, 35-30, 33-27, and I can't tell you the winner because A-Rod looked pretty freaking good last week. So look for, you know, Green Bay. They're not going to stop Brady. They don't have the defense to stop Brady. New England doesn't have the defense to stop Rodgers. This game should be in the 60s easily. You're only looking at 51. To get a score of 33-30, let's look at the KC New England game. Was 43-40, was 83. And Rodgers is better than Mahomes. I don't care what they say. And he's getting the receivers that he wants. And their defense is not that strong, but you're not going to stop Rodgers. There's no way New England's stopping Rodgers and shutting him down. The Bears couldn't. The Vikings couldn't. Not that the Vikings defense is all that. So take New England Green Bay game over. I'm going to give you a quick second game because I'm in a great mood. I've been hot. Miami plays the Jets. I'm going to give you this game real quick. All trends point to the Jets here. In the series, now this is one of those, they play each other twice a year. First of all, you got Brock Osweiler quarterbacking. So you have what's called a weak favorite. A team that doesn't have much offense that's favored is a weak favorite. Tennessee, Jacksonville, these teams are weak favorites. Meaning if you have a decent team against them, they should score. Like if Atlanta's playing Miami and Atlanta's getting 3, I'm locking Atlanta +9. San Diego, same thing. Any of those good quarterbacks going to Miami, and I can get 9, 10 points, it's a lock. The Jets, unfortunately, don't have that, but they're 10-0 in the series. The dog is 10-0 in the same time frame. The Jets are 9-1 as the dog, and in the series, the dog is 19-3. This trend has been going on for years. I've made money for the last 5, 6 years, probably longer, betting the dog in this game, in this situation. There's only once where I remember we're the favorite. I think it was Miami, and I think the game was in London, and they beat them. But everything else, the first game was in New York. New York was favored. Miami wins. It's just you bet the dog here. All the trends. Miami's a terrible home favorite. Let me quickly go through these trends for you. Miami's a home favorite. Well, this year it's only been once. The Jets as a road dog are 3-1 and 3-1 against. But let's go back to 17. Miami 3-0 as a home favorite. 3-0 if you go against them as a home favorite. 19-5 if you go against Miami. That's 79% overall. The Jets are 8-2 as a road dog. 9-1 bet against. So most of the Jet games are close on the road. Now I'll go back one more year because this is where the real trends start happening. Miami 6-1 as a home favorite, 7-0 against as a home favorite. It means in the 7 games played where they've been a home favorite, which is 2016, 2017, and this year, all 7 times, if you bet against Miami, you won. That includes a couple of the Jet games. And the Jets is a road dog, 11-6, 14-3 against. So the Jets are decent as a road dog, but again, you're looking head to head. This series is 19-3. Take the dog, the Jets, and the dog. So the Jets are 10-0 in Miami. The dog's 10-0 in Miami. The Jets are 9-1 as the dog, and in the series, the dog's 19-3. So the Jets play Miami very strong. You've got one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of life, Brock Osweiler. What is he doing in the league? Quarterbacking for Miami. He's just terrible. Darnell, he's terrible. He shouldn't be playing right now. He should be watching and learning. You know, think about going into a new job, right? You don't just go in and know everything. You've got to have a learning curve. They're not giving him a learning curve. They're just throwing him in. And the guy is slowly becoming pathetic. Let's look at his stats. Well, first let's look at the overall team. You've got Miami. Where the hell are they? Miami puts up 22 a game, gives up 27. So it shows you they have a very weak defense. You think of Miami with maybe a good defense and no offense. Here they have no offense and a very weak defense. And they're going against the Jets, who scored 24 a game, so they score more and they give up less. They only give up 25. So the Jets are a better team, basically, even with Darnell. So let's look at the numbers of the quarterback, Darnell. He's Sam Darnold. 8 games, 55%. 213 a game, 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. The guy is just terrible. Sacked 17 times for 102 yards. Brock the Rock Osweiler. Four games, 64%, 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And sacked 13 times in 4 games. No, he sacked 6 times. Sorry, I was looking at Alex Smith. So he sacked 6 times in 4 games. So the reason I didn't go through Brady and Rodgers, I don't think we need to. I think we both know that they're very good. So here's your double teaser. Take the over in the Green Bay-New England game. Brady, Rodgers, they're going to light it up. Take the Jets plus the 9 here. In a series, see, here's what you have different in college. You have pro teams play each other twice a year. you get very good trends on the game's in Miami, if the game's in the Jets, and where, so you get the where it's at, but you get the two teams playing each other. They know each other. These games, you take the dog, you win most of them. The Jets are very comfortable in Miami. Probably a lot of New York fans there, so it's like a home game for them. So anyway, take the Jets in the 9, take New England over. Again, I've adjusted my rates because now we've played a half year basically, so the rates are much reduced for the rest of the year. If you're interested, again, I do. There's the weekly picks, and then as you can buy monthly, which are cost savings, and then the rest of the year is very affordable right now. $600 for the pros for the rest of the year through the Super Bowl, playoffs, all the locks, and there's roughly 12 weeks left. You're getting it for $600. The college is $300, and that gives you gives you November, conference champions, the bowls, and the playoffs, and all of it's $775 basically for 12 weeks, which is very, very, very affordable. $70, not even. It's like $60 a week. So that's what we've got going on. Enjoy this weekend. I have got a ton of college. If you listen to my college, I've got very strong pros. Right now I'm just locking. I have one lock in the pros, and it's just basically, I like a lot of games, but I just don't have that many of that's it, let's lock it. So I'm kind of putting up 11 unit, 15 unit games. I'm just not locking them, except for the one pro lock. There's one I might lock in college. I gotta debate that, but right now I've got just the one lock. But there's a lot of strong plays, so that's what I got. Again, www.teaserking.com. You buy the picks, play them your way. If you disagree with them, don't play it. If you agree with them, play it strong. Play the multiple ones strong. Look at the units. The most important thing is you money manage. You can afford whatever you can afford. Whatever, if you play $50 unit or $500 unit, that's what you should bet. If I give you a 7 unit game and I give you a 15 unit game, I expect you to bet the 15 unit game more than the 7. That's the idea. But within your money, manage your money properly. Don't let one game hurt you. Don't let 1 week hurt you. I mean, you gotta be careful. You want to build your bankroll. You're at $5 grand. You want to get to 10. So you can't bet all $5 grand on one game and you lose. You want to bet parts of the $5 grand to get it up to $6 grand, to get it up to $8 grand, to get it up to 10 grand. Look at the higher unit. Look at the multiple team. Oh, you got Pittsburgh and 3 teasers. I'm betting Pittsburgh like last week. So that's what you want to do with me. Teasers are a unique art. You get the 6 points, which is extremely helpful, especially before the game. Getting it under 3, getting it over 7, getting it over 10. That's what you're looking for. So that's the idea here, is use those picks, use them wisely, and then try to build your bankroll. So I should never hear that, oh, I got all my money on one game, and if it loses, I'm dead. I don't want to hear that, because that's not how you bet. You don't play one stock and take, you got a $100,000 IRA. You don't put $100,000 on one stock, and it's a penny stock. I mean, you can't do that. You put it on a good solid company, and you don't put all of it in one stock. Well, that's the same thing here. There's one game. You don't put all your money in it. Build it. Bet a percentage, and then, okay, it won. Now here's another game. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more. And here I lost the game. Okay, I lost the game. It's fine. It's not going to kill me. So those are some keys to betting. It's all money management. It's all building your units. It's all being smart, looking at the team, looking at the spread. The spread makes the lock. I gotta, like I said, Pittsburgh laying 7 to Cleveland 7.5. That was a lock. Okay, had the Rams been 7 and started at 7 against Green Bay, that would have been a lock. I think it was a lock at 8.5. So I got it down to 2.5. I got it under 3. But if it's 7, you know, my Buffalo in college, lane 7, cut it to 1. I've locked that 4 times. It's won all 4 times. But if you're laying 20 down to 14 is where it gets tricky. So that's what you got to be careful with. Again, if the point spread shifts, if I lock the dog and now the dog's the favorite, it's not a lock anymore. I mean, you might still lock it, but if you see me New Orleans +2, +8, the lock is I'm getting more than a touchdown with New Orleans. And if they now go favored by 1, you can still lock it +5, but the intent was the +8. So when the lines switch and the dog becomes the favorite, back off of it. I still like the game, but you got to bring it down a little bit. But once I make the play, that's what's on there. And I'll make it Monday or Tuesday. And that's why I'm saying if you're going to buy from me, buy as quick as possible. Get the line, because you want to get the line because these lines change. It's not a fixed line. It's like a stock. So you've got to be understanding that the lines change. And you got to be understanding I'm looking at the lines every day. And when I see a line move the way I want it to, I jump on it. But then if it moves the other way, you got to be careful with it. And that's why I'll bet Saturday. Saturday morning, I see a line go from 10 to 7, and now I'm laying 1. I'm locking the game. So I could put up a lock Saturday because this team, for whatever reason, the money went, and then they went down. You lock it, and they win. So that's what I'm saying. And again, I'm looking at in a teaser. So if it goes from 9.5 to 8, the regular public who's betting them straight's looking at the game like, oh, okay, it's over a touchdown. I'm looking at it, I just got it under 3. I'm betting it. Where at 9.5, it's 3.5. I don't like it as much. So just as much as the team is the point spread. That's what makes the lock versus a not lock. So anyway, if Green Bay, if it goes up to 65, don't play it. But at 57 down to 51, now if you hear there's going to be a hurricane hitting New England, or it's going to be freezing snow, back off of the game. But at this point, it's still fairly mild for football. It's 40, 50 degrees. I'm not too worried about Green Bay and New England lighting it up. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, www.teaserking.com. You want to buy stuff, just go to PayPal. You just need a credit card. If you don't have one, you want to pay me, we can do Western Union or MoneyGram, but I'd have to have it, obviously, by, I'd say, Friday night, so you can have the games for the weekend. But even then, you're kind of late. The earlier you can buy from me, the better, because I'm posting games when I see the right spread. It's posted, could be posted Monday, Tuesday, and I just added 4 or 5 games today from what I posted yesterday because of line movements. I could post more tomorrow. There's so many games I like this week, it's unbelievable. So I'm trying to post them all to give everybody an opportunity to bet them. But if I get the right line, then I'm going to post it. If Saturday morning the line moves, I'm betting it. So keep that in mind. I'm not the regular Joe Blow handicapper. I laid 3 games out there on Wednesday night and I walk away and say, well, whatever. No. I'm here to win. I'm here to win for you. You're my customer, and my incentive is that you win. You make money. That's the goal. That's why I'm doing this. And so my point is, jump on it. It's all about the line and the matchup. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. www.teaserking.com. Take care.